Hi everyone, and thank you for purchasing the Text and Image Links Block Shopify section by qwiqode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to actually use it. So if you haven't installed it yet, please refer to the separate video included in the package, and you also have access to a PDF with instructions. So to get started, head over to your theme editor, navigate to the page that you want to add the section to. Over on the left, click on Add Section, and search for the section that you installed. Now over on the left, you have what we call blocks. Each one is basically a link like that. So we can start by adding in some content. So first we'll click the first link. Now, of course, you can have just one, you can have multiple, you can add many more, as many as you'd like. So clicking on the first one, we have a place to add an image, first thing. So let's add in these good-looking cookies. We have two different fields for text. So we have the first part and we have the last part. So you can put in as much text before or after. Obviously, you don't want to make too long of text because then everything will get all jarbled and hard to read. So we could do a wide range of tasty, and we have the image, and then we could do cookies just like that. You can add a link to it. So let's just add a link. You can to a product, to a collection, whatever you'd like. Moving on down, we have a line title. Line title is basically a little subtitle or title that you can place above the text. Now you have a few different options. You can have it at the top or the bottom, like that, or you have it right or left. So let's just put this one at the top left, just like that. Moving on. For the image itself, we have an option to set it as an oval rectangle. In a minute, we'll get to, you can change the sizing of everything, or you can make it more based on a square or a circle. So let's just keep this at oval for right now. You can align the image to be text center or bottom vertically to the text itself. Now to adjust the height, what we would want to do is to add custom height. We'd have to adjust that, then we can play with the height if we'd like it like a bigger image. And then of course we can go down here and adjust the width however we'd like so. We have the same options for mobile. So if you go into mobile, you can play around with that as well. So now if we want to make it a square or circle, do that, and then you could adjust the width of it, which basically just makes it smaller. Like that. And if you want to remove the border radiuses or make it a circle, you could make it a circle or just remove the border radiuses and make it a square. It's like that. So let's put it back into this. All right. Move on to this one. Let's put a cake. Let's adjust. So we have 8 to 30, just so that they'll be the same size. radius. Right? Okay. Every let's add a link, product. Beautiful. Let's just keep it here for now. We won't adjust the image as it's fine. Oh, we could turn on zoom in on image hover. So when you hover over the link, then we have the image zooming in a little bit. You can set an underline already for the image all the time, if there's a link, of course, and there should be, or underline on hover. So when you hover over it, then there's an underline. Next, we can change the color of the text. So let's make that red. And we can also adjust the color of this title. So let's make it a dark gray. Let's go back to this first one. Do the same thing. That. Like that. And last image, let's put in this touch. Most elegant parts around. Let's give it a link. Perfection. And let's make this top left. I'll keep the image size the same. Zoom on hover. Let's set the colors. Okay. So we added now our three links here. Now we head over to the main settings. So clicking on the main section over on the left side. And here we have a bunch of settings as well. So we have section title, so we can add in a section title if we'd like. So let's just say we want to put in something like we have all the desserts that you can imagine. We can set it inside or outside of the wrapper. To show that, let's add a background color. And so if I set this outside of the wrapper, it'll basically be like that. We can adjust the padding in a minute. If we want a heading, we don't obviously have to have one. We can just erase the content and it'll be gone. So let's just get rid of this extra text and let's make this the title actually. Next, we can set an HTML element for the title. HTML element has two benefits for setting that. One, for SEO, search engines rank text by hierarchy or headings more specifically from H1 to H6. So you basically set the importance of that text by selecting one of the heading blocks, H1 down to H6. And so on any given page, usually it's recommended just to have one H1, which is like the main page title, describes the page itself, so the search engines know what the page is about. And for other sections, usually for sections I would do H2, but you can also do H3 moving on down. The other benefit is that you can use this to inherit your theme's topography for those headings, so you don't have to set them separately in the section. But obviously you can if you'd like. So let's move on down. Bottom text is this text we have right over here. You can add in whatever lorem ipsum text, or certain terms and conditions or anything, or just of course leave it blank. Just something like that. You can also place that outside of the wrapper if you'd like. Next, we have section width. So section width, when it's set to regular, we have the maximum width, or we can play around with that, make everything much smaller. Let's say we'd like it just to be something like that. And again, if we don't want a background color, obviously you can get rid of it. Sometimes it looks much nicer depending on your design and what you're looking to achieve. Next, you have section margin top and bottom. A margin is the distance above and below the entire section, while padding is the distance inside. So if we want to set margin top, as you can see, the entire section moves up and down. And here, if there was another section, it would push whatever's here further down. Section padding horizontal is to give more space here, and sometimes it's not really noticeable depending on how far these texts go to the edge. But as you can see, when I'm setting the horizontal padding, it is affecting this text block here, as you can see. But let's just keep it right over something like that. And then section padding top. You can see you're giving a little bit more space there, especially if you have a background color. Let's keep those at this, like that. All right. How about we get rid of this for now, so we have a nice, cleaner look. We have the same margin and padding settings for mobile version as well. Next, section title. So you can adjust this however you'd like. So let's maybe have a darker colored text. We can use a custom font. So you can choose a font that Shopify offers, or if you have a manually installed font, you can put in the CSS code, paste it right into there. You can change the something like that. Sometimes this overrides depending on the font that you put in. Sometimes it doesn't. It just really does depend. You can align the title to the left or to the right of the block. Oh, one thing I didn't mention about the background, you can set also to full width. Well, full width just places everything inside, and the background color will stretch all the way to the edges. It's not always useful depending on your design, but you have that option to do so. We can set margin top and margin bottom of the title. So if you want more space here, you can push that down without any problems. You can set a custom font size. Something like that. Lower that. Line height and letter spacing as well. And those same settings for mobile version as well. Next is text area styling. If you remember, we had another option for a paragraph. So it's the same typography settings for that text area, where you can set the color, the font weight, alignment, and font size, margins, and letter spacing, etc. And the same thing for mobile. Moving on, block styling. So to remind you, each one of these is basically considered a block. So we can give more distance for the entire block as well. Kind of like what we did with the title. The result is kind of the same, but you have the option to do it here or there. Now gap between blocks, so you can add in a little bit more gaps between each one, like that. Now you can also add in a border. If you'd like basically a look like so, and maybe set the color, maybe to something even lighter, whatever you'd like. And we have the same margin and block setting for the mobile version as well. Next, for line text, we can set the heading type here to whatever we want. H4s, H3s, and so on. We can set the custom font, so let's put in the same one we used earlier. Font weight. And we can set everything to be left aligned, right aligned, or centered. We can also adjust the font size and the letter spacing and the line height as well. Line height is mainly used if the text is going to wrap to another line. Usually we keep it at 0 for default. Next, we have this option on mobile. When we're viewing on mobile, we can turn the titles that are shown. We can turn those off like that. Sometimes it's something that you would want to do, just because it gets a little bit too messy on mobile. So you can turn that off. Going back to desktop, let's show the title. Now here you can turn a custom distance. So if you don't like the distance there, you can adjust it a little bit higher or lower, however you'd like. And you can set the custom font for it, like we did others, font weight, font size, letter spacing, mobile version typography. And then we also have the bottom area styling as well. That we can lower margin so it'll be closer to the section itself. We can adjust the font size. And those same settings here for mobile as well. So there you have it. You have a nice little fancy way of displaying text and images as links on your site on mobile version. If we'd like maybe to adjust it, sometimes it gets a little bit cramped. So on mobile version, maybe it'd be a good idea to adjust the font, the letter, or the font size a little bit like that so it fits, and then maybe hide that so we have that kind of look on mobile as well. So that's it. So thank you again, and we hope that this section helps you achieve your website goals. And if you have any problems, please don't hesitate to contact us via the support page on our website.